Well, hello everybody. Well, today we're gonna clean an air conditioning unit. So of course you start with taking all the screws out of here. So 1, 2, 3. This is a little wing, which I don't have on this one, but it's a little accordion wing thing for the window. So, but there's still 3 screws on each side, and of course 3 down there, 2 up here, and 3 more on this side, 3 more down there. Then you open the lid here, and there's another one right here on this model actually. And you just pop this out, and this is where I want to get to all this stuff. This is the cooling rad. So of course the air goes in this way and comes out the fan here. So if it's really dirty, well, the air can't go through, so you lose the airflow. And anyway, so I'm gonna open it all up because there's another rad in the back. So I'm just gonna take the shroud off here. So after you got all the screws out, I'm just going to pull that off here. I need my 2 hands for that though. As you pull up, there's this here that you might want to be really easy not to rip. All it is just noise reduction on both sides. Here is nothing you can do with it because it's glued to the metal. So here we go. Get this off. Okay, so now this is what I want to get at. This one is kind of a simple. This is what I want to get. This on the outside doesn't look too bad, but once you get on this side, which you can't see right now, but I bet you anything it's just caked with stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take the shroud off because I gotta take the fan off. I want to clean that too, and fan don't fit in the hole here, so you can't just pull that away. So this part away. So I'm going to start with here. I'm using a 1/4 driver with an extension. There's a driver. And I got an extension here. I found it easier to get to those here. Actually, this is a 1/4, so you don't need the driver, really. I don't know what I'm talking about today. Okay, so just put the drill in that. So there's one there, another one down here. This is just for the shroud in the back. And of course on the other side, another one here. Another one down there, and then we'll be able to take the plastic off and just back it up a bit. Now, like I was saying before, I want to get to that because let me get the light again. Inside here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's really caked. Not there, but back here. So that's why I want to get in there and clean that out. And you can't just blow it out because it's caked on. Also, when you're taking this off, remember that the one on the side this way, I turned it around now, they're shorter. So this is the size you get here. I don't know if you can really see it. So don't put the long ones, like this one here, in those holes, because you'll go right through the rad. So just to be safe, put the small one back where they belong. So small one, on the other side here, long one, and long one. Okay, so we're just about ready to take this off. I just got to take the the shroud out of the way here, I'm going to take those screws out here and here so I can move the rad. Just spread it a bit so I can get to the fan here. Okay, I got a 7/16 nut here. I just got to take off. So I'm just going to use ratchet extension. It's easier to get out that way. So say I'm clearing the top. So I'm just going to take that off here. And after I'm done that, I can move this back so I can get to the fan, which is right here I want to get to. So I can use my pliers and take that little retainer off there so I can pull the fan off. And this is what I want to get at too. You can see how dirty it is now. I'll film it when it's all off so you can have a better look. And I got to take this front off here too, because I want to take the styrofoam out of there, and I want to get it in the back of this rad. That's the cooling rad. So again, 7/16 nut there, and there's another one in the corner right down here, and another one there. So let me turn it around here. So as you can see, give the light one more time. So there's two. One right there in the corner, and one right here. There. 1 and 2. That one back there is kind of tricky to put back on. Take it off, it's okay, but I use a magnet to put it back in place, and then the socket. And I'm going to unscrew the compressor too. And when you put it back together, this rubber don't need to be tight, in case you're wondering. It's loose, so it just sits there. I just noticed that for the shroud, there's one down there, and it was missing, so I'm going to have to replace it. This one is missing. So you got one there for the shroud here. This for the back one. So you got one down there and one on the other side here. Put it down there. Alright. So after this is off, you can just move it back this way. Alright. Now, like I said, two more to go there and there. So I'm working with one hand here. And just keep in mind where the small one goes. Mark them if you have to. And usually some of them, they get rusty. And what happens is they break on the metal here, so don't worry about it. Even if it's loose, it won't go nowhere after it's all put back together. As long as you got one in there. Okay, so I got the rad unscrewed. So, and also when you play with rads, I don't know if you guys ever did that. Don't touch here or don't squeeze it, because you'll end up with this, and that's what you don't want. You don't want the rad like that, because it blocks the air from going through. So ever gently. Now you got room here because you got a pipe that goes, the line that goes right here, but it's really small. So be gentle. You can just, with two hands, don't do like I'm doing, but just lift it out of there. Just like that, just to give you enough room to get to the fan. If you want to take the fan off and all that and clean it all off. And this is where we want to get to. Clean all that here. Which is, this one is not too bad. It's dirty, but I've seen worse. Because I got two more, and the bigger one was really bad. So I'm just gonna take the fan off now. So I'm just gonna see this is busted too. So I'm gonna need another clip here. So I'm just gonna take the fan off and the shroud and clean all that, and I'll work on on the front. Okay, well, in order to take the wheel off, you got to pull this one up. But usually what I end up doing is they break. So when you pry them up a bit to clear the end of the shaft, they end up busting. Anyway, you can put it back in place and just put your clamp around it, because all it's got to do is sit here and keep it from letting the shaft go back. There's a little groove right here on the shaft, and that's all it does. So it'll be fine. Now I had to put a pair of vice grip on the shaft here in the back of the fan and hold it and just move the fan. Well, with my other hand I would hold the vice grip and just go back and forth this way. It was really hard to take off this one, and finally I got it almost out. So I'm going to use my two hands to take it out of there. This one was like a bugger to take off. Tell you, I had to fight with it. I even put some lubricant on it to free it. And keep in mind again that the shaft is flat on this side. And when you put it back together, the flat side is on opposite of the little tab that broke here. So when you put it back together, make sure you align the flat part with the flat part on the fan. And that's it. Now we can take this out and wash this. And that's the wife's job. I don't wash. Typical man, huh? Alright, so now we can clean that out, but first I want to take this off here. And I got two more bolts on the corner here to take out first, and those three around the compressor, and I'm going to lift the whole thing off this plate down there. Okay, this is the front of the machine, right? And don't forget, you got the filter in here. Anybody that has one of these knows that. You got to clean it once in a while. And you got those vents here to clean. Now the best way to do that, you got all this here too. So and all the grills got to be cleaned. Now the best way to do that, you just pull this little tab back here. It's hard to do with one hand, but okay. So you just press that back a bit, and this will lift right out. Look right here, you can see it. But do it on the outside here, it's better. I need two hands for that. So just gently, you just pull that back, just clear that little pin, then you just lift up. And just keep in mind that when if you want to put it back the way it was, there's a little groove tongue here. Well, that goes on the outside on both sides. There's another one over there. So that's how I remember to put them back inside the right way. This one's up here. And that one is reversed, so it'll be down here. So you can mark them if you want. Want to make sure. And then after it's out, well, it's easier to get at. And this here, there's two little tabs. You be really careful not to break them. But you can lift them up like that. See, I just broke one. You can lift them up, and this can come out. Or you can just wash it this way. Doesn't matter. But they get really brittle. So I would just wash them like that. But you can take it apart if you want. But you gotta be really careful, so go work with both hands, not just one. Okay, so I'm gonna give all that to the wife so she can wash all this, and I'll keep going on that. Alright, correction here. Somebody had this one put in backwards. I know I didn't open this one, so it wasn't me. Honest. Anyway, there's the little ridge tongue here that keeps the panels from, it's a lock, like every time you move the little panels. But one here and one here, just keep it on your left when you have the panels backwards here. This is the front. So when you got it backwards, just keep them on the left. Doesn't really matter really. All it does is just your tilt, so it won't tilt up, but it'll tilt down. But if you got it backwards, you can't tilt down. And that's it. Okay, just taking the compressor bolt off, of course, with another extension ratchet. 12 mil. Actually, no, sorry. 13 mil is a little bit too loose. I use a 1/2 inch for this. I think it is, yeah, it's a 1/2 inch socket. And again, just remember that when you take everything off here, you get the nut, washer, and you got this little rubber thing that just sits on, whoops, sorry, just sits on here. So, okay, now for the front, just gotta pull those guys right off, and I'm gonna have to use my 2 hands again, just like that. And with this comes right off. That just sits there. There's no screws on this panel. Okay, I gotta take all those out. This one here. This one just goes through the hole here, so there's only no screws for those two. One here, another one here, there, one here. Actually, this one you can leave because this whole panel will come with it. Then one in the corner right here. So what we're going to do is just take this plate right off here, from there to there. And this is just the rad, this one and this one here. So I'll start with all that. And back. Okay, so before you pull this panel off, I have another little screw up here. So this is loose, but you get your little vent here. So just press down on this metal plate like that, just to clear it. Then just pull back. That's it. Just don't remember to do that. You'll bust the things. Okay, so now you got all the wiring in here, so don't pull too far. You got all the wiring here. So if you want, you can write on the plate here, you can write what are what. So red, black, blue, and pink. Just in case they come off and oh no, which one goes where, just in case you don't know. And this here you can just pop off like that. Okay, and there we go. So now we're almost ready to pull all that out. So that's the rad is free now. Make sure you don't bust the styrofoam here. It's stuck to the bottom right now. I'll use my 2 hands to free that. So all this will be able to come out now. And then we can get to that fan, because that fan needs a bath too, it looks like. And then we'll be able to get behind this rad, which is not too bad. Usually is the front here. That's bad on this one. Okay, so we're almost there. Just like that. In case you want to see what wire goes where, just identify them. It's just safer. Just don't touch it though with your fingers. After you write it down. Alright. And another good thing too, it's just film everything. So if you forget something, just go and see how it was. And that's about it. So I don't have to undo all this on this one, because I can get to everything I think now. Yeah, I think so. Just got to take all that off now. So we take this part out. Don't pull up this way, pull it towards you, because in the back of it there's little locating pins here, and they're plastic, and you can break them. And they'll go back into the proper holes here on this side here. And that will help you line it back up. Alright, so everything is loose here. So I just want to take that wheel out now that I can get to it. So pair of pliers, take the collar off, and again, same thing as the other side, little tab here. You gotta lift that up in order to pull the wheel out. because that locks it in place. Right there. I decided to remove the control panel, which is right here, because it was in my way. So now I can move everything easier without having this thing hang over. And I didn't want to poke the rad and everything. So, alright, so now I'm ready to lift this out of the hole here and pop everything off the plate. Okay, took the wheel off. You can back up the rod a little bit, just this way, to clear some room. Boy, look at all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to clean this inside with the wheel. Just right here. Okay, and there you go. Here's the inside, so I'll be able to blow that out first, then scrape all this gently with a soft brush. All this stuff, because you can't just blow it off, it's really stuck on there. Alright, so I can pull all this off. Oh, I put a piece of vice grip again so I could turn the wheel back and forth to loosen it up on the shaft. So we don't need the vice grips anymore. And start cleaning the rads. Here we are. So make sure you don't poke the rad with the shaft, motor shaft here. And that's it. Now we can clean this plate. That's the bottom. Make sure you don't break the styrofoam thing, because the water goes through here and it comes out of this corner and just drains this way on the plate there. But when it's like that, it's really hard to drain with all this stuff in the road. That's why I want to clean all this. And of course, the mount comes off too. So make sure you put those stoppers back in. And so I'll clean that. Styrofoam over here. Clean this too, really gently. So if I want to snap this. Okay, so just to clean this, you just go not sideways, up or down, just with a soft whisk, and just gently just brush it off. You don't want to bend the fins, just like that. Of course, when you got two hands there, you can just hold the rad so it doesn't move. So you just want to go gently downwards, and then you're gonna use the air compressor and just blow it from the other side and blow it out. And you should be able to see after through it to a certain amount. Okay, now what you want to do is just use an air gun compressor. Now when you blow, don't get blow the rad, don't get too close to it because you will bend the fin. But don't go too close to the fins. Same thing for the back. Just ever so gently. Just loosen it all up. See, now I just bent this. I was going too hard. So make sure it's just a little bit, like not too much force. And make sure you go straight up and not like sideways, because you'll bend them. So I got to do all this here. That's not me, that was there before. But yeah, just a little bit, take your time, and I have to do the whole thing, and then I'll blow it from the inside. From the outside in. This one here is reverse, so you want to do it the outside first and blow it from inside out. This one is reverse. You got to blow it from outside in after you got it all loosened up. Okay, so this is the back. So I brushed all the bad stuff off, the stuff that was hard to take off because you can't blow it out. So now we just gently again. A lot of dust. I don't want to keep the camera in the dust there, so I'll just shut it off. Okay, so I got the bottom piece back and all the other pieces are clean. So she did a pretty good job, I might say. So I'm just going to set all this back on here. This little styrofoam tray is kind of like really brittle, so this is about as best as it's going to get. So don't forget to put that back in there. So this rad will sit on there, leak on there, and then it's just going to drain right from there into the back of it and drain out. Okay, so now I'm ready to put that on now. So we'll start with the rubber mount, which are these. Okay, don't forget your steel spacer. Okay, and 3 to go like that. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll mount the compressor on top. As you put the compressor in place, make sure you don't bend the rubber underneath. Make sure the rubber is up all the way around. And you just grab your other rubber spacer right here. There. And then there's 3 of them, of course. Don't forget the one back there. And then the washer. Now keep in mind that the washer will not squeeze the rubber tight, so this is going to stay loose like that. It is normal, so you're not doing anything wrong. So that's it. So this will just come up and down like that. So still move after you put the nut on. That's normal. So don't try to squeeze it all together. Be careful with this type of nut. It's really thin, so don't over tighten or you're gonna strip this part right here. It's just gonna strip because the metal is really thin, so it's not like a nut like a normal one. So don't over tighten. Don't over tighten the nut. Yeah, just put the front piece back on here. I had to change the nuts because the front ones are gone. They're so rusty that they just break at nothing, so they strip real quick. So I'm just going to change those ones back here. So there's one there, one in the corner down there somewheres. Let's see if you can see it. I sure can't. They're right there. So one back here, and the other one's right here. So I'm going to change the nuts on those. I'm just going to put the rad back in place, and just remind yourself that those are little short screws. Those there, because you don't want to go through those lines. Okay, so you can put this piece, the shroud, this lip facing you, towards you, if you're facing the back of the machine. Put it back in place, and line it up with your screw hole there, and there's another one on the other side here. So I need my 2 hands for that. So before you do that though, you can leave it like that loose. We'll put the fan on here first, and then you can line it up with those two screws, one here and one on the other side there. Keep in mind when installing the fan, you gotta line the flat end of the plastic with the flat end on the shaft. So it's opposite to where the little... There's a little piece that broke. So Do you folks remember what I said about little screws? Not too long, because you got a pipe right back here, so you don't want something too long that you might hit that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I got the shroud screwed in there and back there, so that's in place. So now I just got to bring it here and put my screws back here for the rad and close the rad into the shroud. That's about it for there. Okay, just in case you forget, there's a short and a long one. Long one goes right here, 1 and 2, so they'll be on your right, and then short ones this way because you're going towards the rad, so you want the short ones, which is those ones right here. Okay, the back rad is on. One screw there, one there. Shroud is on, one there, one screw here, one in the back and the bottom, and one here, one there, another one on the bottom there. Now, every time you put a piece on, just make sure, turn the fan, make sure it's not hitting anything. So that means you're aligned. No noise whatsoever, so I'm aligned with everything. And now we're going to work on the front. So, first thing you do in the front is put the back piece, the styrofoam, and then the fan. Okay, so you put the styrofoam in here. Of course, the opening is upward because the fan turns counterclockwise. Make sure you don't put your bolt down here because you might have to lift this in order to get the styrofoam in to pass that lip down there. So don't tie that down yet, this piece. You can do this side if you want. The first one here, the second one there. We'll leave the third one out for now. Okay, so now we're ready to put the fan in. So I'm just going to put that in place without damaging, of course, the rad. So I'll just put that on there. Alright, the fan is in place. I just turned everything, make sure everything is cool. No sound. I'm going to put the front plate in front with the guiding pins that goes into those holes right here. Just line up your pin just like so. Looks pretty good. Now we can put the rad back in place and put our screws to hold it there. Okay, before we put the rad down there, don't forget to put your brackets in place first because they have to go through the hole this way, and then we can bring the rad in place. So is that side there. Same thing. There's another one right here. The brackets are in place. Again, don't forget to put the shorter screws because again you're going towards the rad, so you don't want nothing too long. So you gotta use the small screws. Make sure your bracket is in place properly first. That one isn't. It's gotta come up. It's gotta look like that. Just like that. Once you got the rad in place, screwed there and there, you can screw that down here, the last one for this. Again, make sure you turn everything, make sure nothing's rubbing. It's got to go in anyway. But okay, now we're ready for the top. Okay, so I redid all my wiring. Of course, I had everything identified here. Because my memory is not that good anymore. Here's the blue one, which goes right here. Now, I gotta get my ground wire here, which I gotta find the screw for it. Somewhere over there. Of course, don't forget that your ground wire or screw is a metal screw, so it's not pointy. Of course, I have to throw it on the ground. It's not pointy, it's a metal screw. So now we're done all the wiring. Ground is on. There. Double check everything. Just pull on everything, make sure that they connected properly. And then we got our sensor here that's going to go back into the front, into this right here, which clips around a pipe with this clip right here. Okay, so I'm ready to put that in place now. Now before you put those two screws to tie the back and the front together, make sure you, again, just the reverse, press on the metal and put this little guy back in place first. Now you can lock it in place. Don't forget your trap, your air exchange. And okay, so I got one here so far, one here. This one stayed there because I didn't take it off, so I got another one here. Another one on top here, yeah. Okay, so I'll do those. I can't say it enough time. When you go towards the rad, put the really short screws. So short one here, short one down up here. So anywhere where you go towards the rad. Okay, so I just put the panel back in place and just put the button back, just push them in. So now it's time to see if this thing is still gonna work. So let's turn it on. Okay, now I got the compressor on, but because it's too cold in the garage right now, because it's still spring, but it's still cold here in Canada, I'm just going to hold this with my hand and make it warmer. That's just a sensor temperature, and then it should warm the pipe up here and get the compressor to kick in. There we go. You hear it? Compressor just kicked in. Perfect. So just the warmth of my hand made the compressor kicked on. Made the compressor kick on. So it's working fine now. Those pipes right here, it's going to get super cold. And then one back there is going to get super hot. That's where the oil cools itself down. So now we're ready to close it all up. Yeah, we're getting nice and cold already, so cool. So now the compressor shut off because it's too cold in here. So the temperature is reading too cold. And also, if you want a quick response for this to kick on, use a torch and just give it a little shot. Just like that. And that's it. Compressor kicks on right away. So the compressor is working now. That's what's buzzing. So just give it a little shot on this. Now don't burn the end though, because you don't want to take the solder out of there. Don't warm it up too much. Okay, so it's time to close it up. So I'm just going to put the shroud on and everything. Okay, so I got all the screws back together except the ones here for the accordion. That's what they look like actually. Those ones are busted, but it's for this here. It's just to close the hole, right, in the windows. So I got everything now. Those ones up here, they're a bit harder to line up sometimes because the piece inside moves back and forth. So I just put a poker and I just line myself up this way and I put one in, and that's it. So you can use a little screwdriver or anything that fits in the hole without damaging the threads, and line yourself up this way. So I got that one to do that one, and put the cover in front, and that one's done too. Alright, so we're done. Got it all back together. Everything's working. And before you use it, don't forget to put your filter back in. Now that you cleaned it all. So there we go. Now we gotta not a brand new machine, but the machine is going to work much better and going to get cooler faster, and it's going to save hydro because it's all clean in the back. Bolt rads are clean, the air can go through. And anyway, hopefully that helps you. Thanks for watching.